Police in Virginia trying to figure out how a 6-year-old got a hold of a loaded gun and shot his teacher. This happened inside of a first-grade classroom. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has that story.
The teacher, Abigail Zwerner, is now listed in stable condition after suffering life-threatening injuries from that shooting. Police say a 6-year-old shot her with a handgun in a first-grade classroom Friday afternoon at Richnick Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia. It's unclear exactly what led up to the shooting, though police do say this was an isolated incident and that some sort of altercation took place.
The altercation was between a 6-year-old, the student who did have the firearm, and the teacher, and then a round was fired. Like I said, she suffered a gunshot wound and has been transported to the hospital. That's where my thoughts and prayers are at right now.
We need to keep the guns out of the hands of our young people. This is evidence today that these are the things that happen when we have access to weapons.
Police say this was not an accidental shooting. It's unclear how the 6-year-old boy gained access to a loaded gun. The devastating incident, of course, rocking the community.
I'm in awe and I'm in shock, and I'm disheartened. The day was really a breakdown in what our values are as a community, what our values are as a city, and what our values are as a school division.
District officials say the elementary school will be closed Monday and Tuesday to allow time to heal.
This world we're living in is insane, y'all, because I don't know about you, but back in the day, 6-year-old little Devin was trading Pokemon cards, playing T-ball, watching The Rock wrestle in the WWF on SmackDown, and those were the good old days, in my opinion. But fast forward to present day, and we got 6-year-old gangbangers parented by psychotic, idiotic, scum of the earth human beings. That's the only explanation I could come up with as to how things like this happen. When you take a step back and think about it, it makes me wonder, what kind of examples is this 6-year-old boy seeing on a day-to-day basis? This child doesn't just come up with this sort of solution and resort to shooting his teacher all on his own. These parents need to be held accountable and be investigated. It's not a firearm problem. It's not a gun problem like far leftists always like to fall back on. Everybody's always quick on that side to want to revoke our Second Amendment rights. Anyone with some sort of real world common sense and logical thinking skills can come to the conclusion that guns don't load or fire off on their own. It's an evil intent in the heart of man or woman that makes that sort of thing happen, not the gun. That's a tool used to save lives, and that's what it was created for. For whatever reason, they always like to push this false narrative and these ideologues that just aren't true. Now, I'm not naive enough to believe that all parents are completely responsible for their child lashing out and unveiling this sort of anger and hate. Most of the time, that is the case, but let this be a lesson in keeping your guns locked up, secure, and out of access and reach to young ones. If you're going to have your gun at convenience, at arm's reach, because I know if things were to ever hit the fan, you want to be ready, at least keep the mag out. At least keep the mag out, because I highly doubt, it's very unlikely that a 6-year-old or a child that's this young and really not capable of doing so is going to be able to slap the mag in, charge the weapon, let alone having to put in some 9mm bullets without a speed loader. I doubt that's going to be the case. So let this be a lesson to keep your stuff locked up. Now, I read that this school has metal detectors, but for whatever reason, only scans certain students and visitors and teachers. But if you're going to invest in that sort of system, I'm sure it's not cheap at all. Why not run everybody through it? Why not use all the resources at hand to avoid situations like this happening? Now, could somebody slip through? Possibly, but it's very unlikely that a gun is going to get through a metal detector unseen by a child or a visitor or a teacher. So I think the school has to take some accountability and blame for this one right here. Now, what I'm wondering is if this child will be charged for murder, if they'll be held accountable for attempting to take somebody else's life, because in this day and age, supposedly it's possible for a child to choose, pick, chop off and go a gender route, but they can't be charged for attempting or succeeding at taking another man or woman's life. I don't think that standard should be changed up. It's just something to ponder on. I'm just wondering, is this child going to be charged as an adult for taking ridiculous measures to try to solve a problem? Murder is never the solution to anything. Murder and attacking somebody else just because you got upset, just because you're angry, just because you've seen your parents act a certain way, that's never the outcome that should be had. We need some solutions, and we need to keep the same standard across the board. Are we going to treat these children like adults and give them the ability to change their gender, which isn't possible? You're created in God's image, however he made you. He don't make mistakes. Or what's the deal? What do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Now, some people ain't gonna like this, but ultimately, this is what happens when God and biblical standards get taken out of schools. It happened way back, and look how society has unfolded ever since. Kids and eventually adults don't value life, respect authority, have no sort of impulse control or anything to make them a valuable member of society. So what's the solution? Get the Bible back in schools. Start preaching truth. Start preaching common decency, valuing life, loving your neighbor as yourself. You know, the beautiful things that are listed in scripture, the Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth. I'm sure if we applied those things like back in the day, we wouldn't see all this chaos ensuing. Yeah, there'd be a couple that slip through the cracks, but ultimately, you wouldn't see anything like this happen on a regular basis like it seems as though it is nowadays. Now, I know most of the people that we check out in these news stories and kids, unfortunately, they don't know the scripture and they haven't realized what Jesus did for all of us when he took on that cross and beat all the darkness of sin and death. For God so loved the world that he sent his one and only son. He gave us another chance. Could have been toasted up extra crispy like Sodom and Gomorrah. I've said it time and time again, but I'm going to share some gospel anyways in hopes that someday you or someone you love wakes up and seeks the truth. So Ephesians 6 verses 1 through 4 says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." So what is this little boy's daddy doing at home to where he gets so angry he wants to end his teacher's life? What is this boy's mother doing? I guarantee it's not responsible parenting. I guarantee there's no biblical, godly values in that household, and there needs to be. So pray for this teacher, y'all. I'm sure she got up thinking it was just gonna be another day. She was gonna be teaching math and history and reading and things of that nature. Hopefully not critical race theory and sex education, inappropriate things that parents don't condone. But either way, she's a teacher, she's a human being. I can guarantee there was nothing that she did or said to that little boy to where she deserved to be shot. Nothing at all. So pray for her, her family, all the students and teachers at this elementary school. And this may not be a popular opinion, but pray for that little boy and his parents as well, that they find the truth and love of Jesus Christ someday. Let me know what y'all think down below. That's all I got for you today. If you like these sort of videos, you get some sort of value or whatever you tune into my channel for, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not already, tap the notification bell just in case YouTube didn't let you know that I posted this video, share this video, get this out in front of other people, allow them to, you know, think for themselves and see all the craziness that's happening in society and hopefully get some biblical value from my little rants as well. But outside of that, if you want to support the channel, you like what I'm doing over here, you can get awesome designs like this made by my lovely wife over on her Etsy store. She's got a bunch of different other ones, so go check out that down below in the description section. If you want to take it a step further, you could join the Patreon family, buy me a coffee, head over to my website, dgibson.com, make a one-time or recurring donation, or you don't got to do any of that stuff at all. Just looking at my freckle face and watching me on your screen, I'm grateful to have y'all here. Until next time, I love you. Godspeed. I'm gone.